This review is brought to you
By order of the Peaky Blinders.
So Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man is a film that takes place exactly 6 years after the events of the actual Peaky Blinders Netflix show, which ran for 6 seasons. We pick up in 1940, where Thomas Shelby is kind of living off in isolation, only being accompanied by Johnny, who's essentially the caretaker of the property he's living at. Meanwhile, what's left of the Peaky Blinders is being run by Duke, Tommy's illegitimate son, back in Birmingham. Cillian Murphy and Barry Keoghan play off each other very well in this estranged father and son dynamic, and it's a really well-crafted film that not only works as a proper conclusion to the Peaky Blinders story, but also functions very well narratively as its own standalone story. And by no means do I think that you can watch this movie without watching the show. I highly recommend you watch the show if you're going to watch this movie. Matter of fact, Peaky Blinders is one of my top 10 all-time favorite shows. It's such an incredible series, and I highly recommend to anyone who hasn't seen it yet. But the way this movie works is like, there's enough establishment within the film itself without it being like forced exposition, to the point where everything makes sense and you can follow along just as well. Like, I think about when Netflix made El Camino, which was meant to be a follow-up epilogue piece to Breaking Bad. That was more so a side story about what happened with Jesse after the events of the main series. This, unlike that film, feels much more like a final chapter than an epilogue, because we have our heavy hitters. We got Tommy Shelby, played by Cillian Murphy, and once again, this man just freaking kills it. This man suiting up in period-accurate clothes, a trench coat, a newsboy cap, and smoking a cigarette is easily one of the coolest things ever. I mean, this guy is dripping with cool factor, on the same levels as like Wesley Snipes' Blade. Okay, that was a really weird comparison. Duke is a character that was introduced in Peaky Blinders season 6, played by Conrad Kahn, but because of the 6-year time jump, they wanted to recast, and I think you couldn't have done any better than Barry Keoghan playing this character. Not only does he feel so much like the original actor playing the character, but you feel every ounce of his performance when he brings it out on screen. Every bit of frustration, his control and dominance, his charisma, his bravado, his straight up just repressed emotions. It all comes through in his performance, and he does such a great job translating that. In this film, we do have some familiar faces. We got Ada, we got Johnny, we got Charlie, we got Stag, as well as some newcomers, like Rebecca Ferguson's character, who's, oh my gosh, how do you pronounce that? Kaulo, something like that. I don't know. I think she said it like once with this really pretty accent, and I have never been able to figure it out. I think they called her Blackbird at one point, or it means Blackbird or something like that. I'm just going to call her Blackbird. Not only that, but we have a brand new villain in Tim Roth's Beckett, who is just a slime ball. Basically a guy who doesn't really care how this war ends. He just wants it to end quickly and thinks that Hitler is the quickest way to ending that war. In this story, the stakes are high and punches are certainly not pulled. There are some genuinely intense moments, some very gripping, shocking moments, and basically every emotion you can possibly feel is felt during this film. And it's honestly mind-blowing. This movie is less than 2 hours long. I think it's like an hour 52 minutes or something, and yet they accomplish so much. It is so well paced. You get a little bit of a slower first act, but that is so well paid off as the movie progresses, and this honestly feels like a film that gets better as it keeps going. And it hits the ground running. It starts out with something right out the gate to hook you, and from that point on, it just gets even more awesome. Much like the actual series, Stephen Knight's writing and dialogue just feels so well intentioned and purposeful. I know Netflix has been getting a lot of flack lately because, you know, they keep repeating themselves in their dialogue. Stranger Things season 5 looking directly at you. But this movie, much like that series, and I don't know if it's because it's just BBC producing it as well, it just feels so much more intelligent and so much more passionate in the craftsmanship of this film. Much like the original series, this film does use a lot of licensed music in various stages, and it is very well utilized, which makes for a pretty awesome soundtrack. But it is kind of funny how this is a period piece set in like the 1940s, and they're using like more modern type British rock music. This movie visually puts every Netflix original film to shame. I mean, this just visually looks stunning. There are so many shots in particular that are just burned into my memory because of how incredible they look. The character development in this film is just genuinely awesome. The arc that they take the character Duke on is very interesting, because when we had him in season 6, he was very much starting out to be a little bit of like this timid little gypsy kid who eventually morphed into this cynical type of Peaky Blinder that we pick up with him as in the beginning. And where that takes him after he's connected with Beckett and what we see him doing as a Peaky Blinder it really shows the true nature of this character, and I really dug what they did to explore that further. And like I said, Barry Keoghan's performance only elevates this even higher, and it felt like all the veterans of the cast and crew picked up like they never left without skipping a beat. Like there was no delay between the series finale and where this film starts. It feels so cohesively true to the overall Peaky Blinders story. And you know, I gotta say, I was really happy that they actually put this one in the theater, because the theatrical experience only enhanced my enjoyment. I was really excited going in, and I had a feeling, I'm like, yeah, I really hope that this is like, you know, turns out to be at least good. But by the end of the film, I was floored, and this was just flat out incredible. I waited to post this review until it actually hit stream, because it seemed like not a lot of people had actually heard that it was in theaters, but I did manage to see it twice in theaters, and I'll probably watch it again now that it's on Netflix. But this movie is genuinely incredible. If you have not watched the Peaky Blinders show, please watch it, then watch this film. If you've seen the series, this is the ending that you've been looking for. I thought we had a very satisfying ending with season 6. Little did I know that they could only improve and do it significantly better in this film. I love a series that has the guts to close the book and actually give us a final chapter that is earned and definitively we are done with this story. Oh, come on! But like I said, this movie is absolutely incredible, and it's really hard to talk about without getting into spoilers, but I don't want to talk about too much because this film is just worth experiencing. Can't sing this film's praises enough. I've seen it twice. It's my favorite film of the year thus far, and competition moving forward is going to be very stiff. And if I have to rate this thing, I'm giving this a definitive 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
So Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man. Did you even know if it was out? Because if you did, you should have seen it by now. What's wrong with you? Why haven't you seen it yet, loser? Please let me know in the comments whether you loved or hated this film, or you're somewhere in between. But regardless, if you're going to disagree with people in the comments, no need to go to each other's throats. It's just a movie after all, not the most important thing in the world. But if you like this review, then please like this video. Be sure to subscribe if you want more videos like this in your feed, and hit the bell so you know when I'm uploading, because apparently only 0.6% of my subscribers are actually seeing the videos I post. That means 3 people maximum. So yeah, hit that frickin' bell. If you want more content from me that isn't YouTube exclusive, you can click the links in my description. It'll take you to multiple different social media platforms where I post tons of reviews that don't always make it onto this channel. And the ones that I do post on this channel, I always post on those platforms long before I edit together a video. For example, when I saw this movie twice in theaters, I posted 2 Letterboxd reviews long before I put together this video review. And if you're a physical media collector like me and you want to see more of my collection, please be sure to subscribe, because I post shorts of the new additions to my collection as they come in, because I'm on my way to 1,000 different titles in my collection. I'm having a good time documenting it. So be sure to check all that stuff out. And until next time, guys, God be with you, and take care.